So you're ready to take a next step. Great. And maybe you're particularly interested in baptism. Also great. Well, let's start with the baseline. The baseline of all next steps, the baseline, honestly, of all of Christianity, and it's this. It's that it's about the gospel. In the original language, gospel meant glad tidings, but now it has shifted. It's shifted more to what you and I probably know it as, which is the message or the hope of Jesus. Let me know, drop in the comments down below, when you hear the word gospel, what do you think? But the message or the hope of Jesus can get kind of complicated, and churches have been talking about it for years, and so there's a lot out there. So let's distill it down to the easiest way that I know how, through an acrostic, an acronym. I borrow this from my friends over at Dare to Share. Go check them out. They're amazing. But here's where it starts. God created us to be with Him. That comes from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, where it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And here's why this matters. You and I, we were created, right? We're not here by random chance, by genetic mutation, by gene reassortments or chromosomal accidents. You and I, we are created. And so since God created you and God created me, well, I think that means that the Creator has the right to tell the created how to live. In Exodus chapter 34, verses 6 and 7, the Lord is compassionate and gracious God. He is slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving the wicked and rebellion and sin. Yet He does not leave the guilty unpunished, which is important because our sins have separated us from God. In Romans chapter 5, it reminds us that when Adam sinned, sin entered the world. Adam brought sin, sin brought death, and so death spread to everyone, for everyone sinned. You see, there's actually two kind of types of sin. We have positional sin, which means fair or unfair. Adam, acting on behalf of all humanity, brought the disease of sin into the world that we see today. We're all born with an inclination towards sin, a bent towards sin, a disposition. Our nature, our predisposition is sinful. And so while that may seem unfair positionally, practically speaking as well, the reality is this, is if Adam's sin is unfair, you and I, we've committed offenses against God, the Creator. Romans 3:23 says we've all sinned and all fallen short of God's glorious and perfect standards. All right, so our sins have separated us from God, but sins, they can't be removed by any good deeds. So here's the thing, if you're guilty, you, as it says in Exodus, should be punished justly. You see, the profound problem in humanity is not insecurity, is not lack of purpose, or the desire and need to feel welcomed and a part of community. In fact, humanity's fundamental problem is sin. You see, you and I, we have a sin nature, that sin predisposition, and we, you, I, all of us, we need to be rescued from a place that we can't rescue ourselves from. Thankfully, a part of our acronym P, paying the price for sins, Jesus died and He rose again. He is the picture perfect image of God. But Jesus also was fully human. And Jesus needed to be fully human in order to take the place on the cross as punishment for other humans' sins. But the fact that He was fully God allowed His one death to be a cover for all of humanity. We actually get a picture of that through the Passover in Exodus chapter 12, where it says they're to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the animal. But the blood on the doorpost will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you're staying, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. This plague of death will not touch you when I strike the land of Egypt. It goes on to say that this is a day to remember. Each year from generation to generation, you must celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all the time. You see, Jesus, just like that Passover lamb, died, but the difference is His wasn't for a one-time occurrence. His was for all people, to die as a punishment for their sins. Jesus bore the weight, all the horrible things of God's people. So what do we do? Knowing that Jesus paid the price for our sins, well, if you're ready to take your next step, especially in baptism, click the link down below, let us know, or if you have some more questions, we're gonna talk about what comes next. That video is gonna be here on the screen. Click it, and we'll see you in the next video.